Excuse me. I have to comb the hair, considering I'm putting up with things that most intel agents wouldn't put up with, like a smashed in head on the Ghostline relic. But yeah. I went downstairs for a cigarette again. At the Knox, it's almost impossible to have a cigarette because you go downstairs, you got people from Dolores Shelter who are federal prisoners from San Quentin who were born in Fresno who are psychos. You know, the reason Heine followed me to New York, the Hells Angels guy, like high school, you know, the high school thing with Jodie Foster, was because those people are born in Fresno. They don't have much business with me or the Barons. In fact, none. But because they are federal prisoners and they have a relation to Fresno, they followed me, you see. Now, the ones responsible for the Barons are obviously not these retards. These are what they call the extras, like the stalkers. So when he went to London and met up with Monsieur Hells Angels or not Hells Angels or whatever, and they're both Jewish, funny enough, but then again, they weren't always Hells Angels. I think he was a treasurer or something for Hells Angels, the father. But you see, you get involved with that world, the world of hair, that has, you know, a girl who has her head smashed in on the coastlines and comes back as Disneyland, and corporations, and literally corporations. There were buildings. Now, if the corporations are in the basements with the girl around the world, these are directors. There are too many because the girl used to do grey and black. So La Sapienza had to do with mathematics, physics, and science. The Pink Corporation, Space Tech, the Pink Corporation had to do with cancer. So if you're going to the UN or you're going to Rome or you're going to La Sapienza or Germany airspace and stuff, they're speaking about that girl. This girl, unfortunately, is what they call, after smashed in head on the Ghostline 221, this Disneyland. So when you send psychos after her, who already have federal prison behind their belt, after some time on the Crawleys, she stops having the energy because she's homeless, talking about myself, and she is on the literal crawlies of herself after she's a replacement child, okay? And she ends up having to do, you know, connect the dots. When she goes to the East Coast, she goes to London, she does the usual shit, and then, you know, and they're following her. Now, the police in San Francisco is not knowing about it, and they can send their own and others. But what I am telling you is this. The reason they brought back a girl who had her head smashed in on the coastlines is because that's void on your soil. I don't like the Mossad because I'm not Jewish. I mean, it will come to mental retardation. So sticking me with cycles, I'm like downstairs. I'm going upside. I'm having a cigarette in the backyard, mumbling to myself like always around the capital cities. On the grocery store, don't give a shit. In 81 countries. You want to stick in the US? Go ahead. Because we're doing most of Western Europe and Eastern Bloc, Russia, Arabias. I've done many times these crawlies and electric crawlies for the parents. After the girl had her head smashed in on the coastlines. I'm the replacement child on the retirements. Don't fuck with me, asshole. I came back from the dead. I'm Disney. I was a very, very, very advanced girl in Intel and in science breaks. That girl had her head smashed in on the coastlines, and I am the stand-in of that girl. I am the replacement child, the heir. You didn't kill that girl. You smashed her head in on the coastline. You think this is normal. It is called Celebra in other parts of the capital cities. Between the Vatican is based in Rome. They think you're fucking Satanists on the coastlines, and that's the old news on the news. And because it's old news on the news, you can send me your psychos. What patriotic idea did you have on the coastlines with the empty technology and science buildings? What was Elon Musk moving to Texas for? About the Elon Musk children of Shinoa Putter in elementary primary school at UG5. Downstairs, there's some gay guy who's dressed up or something. I don't know if he's a girl or a boy, and I don't care. He's from Alaska. Big and white and fat. Every time I see him, I'm nice to him. I go outside, I mumble to myself, what do you say? Scraggedy bitch, shut up. Every time I go outside, he does that, even if I don't say anything. You see, this is America. This is it. This is the essence of the smelly ass of America. Not only you smashed the girl's head in on those lines, you pushed her to the federal prisoners, and then you sat there and said, well, she deserves that. I deserve that. Holy moly, I'm not even that girl. And while I'm speaking, your coastlines are getting emptier. So while your Bill Gates are sitting there and saying, how can I count money? True intel that breaks space July 20th of the 21st century is denied existence in the US with a smashed in head on the coastline saying, Disneyland replacement. A particular corn cob, anybody 221, Holland. It's a particular number, you fucker. I saw the devil. I did. That girl saw the devil. She saw her own head smashed in on the coastlines. She comes back as Disneyland, and you want to do the same to her for fun, Schadenfreude Jr.? What was history about for the Chinese and the others in the UN? What was that girl good at before you smashed her head on the coastline? Why did the corporations, why did the ship to yacht leave with me? You fuckers. That you had to bring back Disneyland in a particular corncob format and send her psychos? For what? That girl didn't have time for anything. She was either flying or running. Fucking was. The flyings. These are the runnings. These are the runnings, my dear. The hills. Beyond, you have to be at the top of the fucking hills. The top of the hills. Top of the hills. To get to the fucking mountains. Because they're hills. You will not see the hills from the ground. I am right here. With that little pink light. I'm dead, baby. The parents are mountains and hills. The hills are here. You fucking retard. And then it comes down. And then it hits the roof right here. I'm right here. I died there. On the coastlines. And I came back as Disneyland. The propped child. Do you understand this? This is old news on the news. You could see it coming from China. The fuck's wrong with you, asshole? You have a PhD. So do I. You have 2 masters. So do I. You have 2 bachelors with honors in 4 years. So do I. You have an IB. So do I. At the age of 14. By 15, I was in college. You're retard. You speak languages? Like what? 4 by the age of 2? Oh, great. And then you forgot those languages and you learned new ones. Sorry, darling. I already had my head smashed in on the coastlines. I'm a propped child. Crab to crabby. After the smashed in head on the coastline. Some people even thought that Crab was the original girl. A retarded country. No, just retarded. Full stop. Then, I go to Europe. And everyone's giving me investments. I figured out. Those guys ain't from freaking Saudi Arabia or India or Mongolia. They're from Kazakhstan. The guys who gave me the investments in the German Berlin Bank. I can't touch it though. The lawyer said to me, I have so much money now. We have the orphan pension fund and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then you have your house and this and that. And anyway, finally I got my house under my name from Fresno. Under my name. I am the daughter. Depends how you see it. Then I had to explain to those people, not some psychiatric ward in Rome or London. They're all intel. That's the denial of the Americans. It's difficult to say, hey, look, that shit's in Las Vegas is empty because I'm the replacement child. Same in Germany. Oh, your state's fucking big. She's Disneyland. She came back for a blimping time. 221 Delft, Holland, the Delft. It's the name of the church. And London. No, with those corporations. Because the Americans will fucking deny it about me. Because I'm Disney. What the country? Satana. Why did you do the Scotland film and Radio Glovo for the baby? Do you know why? Because of what happened on the coastlines. Dirk-Jan van Damme and the others, they speak about the Hague, they speak about the Bureau de Veritas, they can speak about the Federal Tribunal of Rome with all the Dr. Paris on the planet. One of them saying, they'll kill them for fun, they're trying to produce the fucking retards, the Americans, they're doing it on purpose to collect. She fired the next day. Why? Because they see something not normal in the US. First of all, that shit's empty on your fucking soil. The corporates. For that girl. And the others shipped her out to Bridges. Don't give me this shit. You can see it coming from fucking China. Secondly, they're looking at Disneyland and say, what the fuck they want from this one? For fun? Okay, we'll sue you even more. We'll get the federal tribunal in Europe. We'll do this and that, and then we'll say the psycho stalkers and da 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 da. This is only sex anyway. Who gives a shit? And then you married a guy you were not interested in, George. Look what happened to him. George wasn't your husband. O'Connor from Hookerset, Graft City. Come on, you were naturalized there for 3 high schools and stupid times. This is the 3rd high school. You don't fucking exist by now. You're just a fucking replacement child. Come on, you're a fucking retard. That shit's empty on the coastlines because of you, but we can't even admit that because we're fucking bitches in the US. All our PhD pieces of paper up our ass. Intelligent stuff. But that's old news on the news. So gives a shit we sent psychos and cheerleaders after you. We are patriots. You ain't fucking patriot if you bet your ass. Can we please stay in row for retirement? Like, I'm not fucking kidding. There's films, there's radios, and I have to do this Disney impersonation after I smashed in head on the coastline so you fucking bitches can feel special about your tits and ass. Are you retarded? How many times on the crawlies and electric crawlies of that girl around those capital cities? Not to mention all the flying, all the running, all the fucking crying, baby. You can feel good about yourself. Sure, you will. And what about Fresno for the parents on retirements? Is that a question? The inventions of Fresno's intelligence. Is it a power game or something? Seriously. The whole fucking world has heard of Fresno's intelligence, tits and ass, the girlfriends in the nursing homes, the girlfriends in the hospital of St. Agnes. They've heard everything about Fresno. All over the world, that many motherfucking... Are you sick in your head? You're mentally retarded. Step up. Inventing shit, lying in Fresno with your puppy dicks. And your fucking heinies who are friends with the puppy dicks because they were in fucking federal prison in San Quentin because Tom and Jerry Diet House put them to local county jail. So they're fucking shitting on their pants already with hernias on their balls and everything because they're in trouble with the law locally and federally. All of them, including Tom and Jerry Diet House. And I don't care if you have a corrupt county in the middle of fucking nowhere. You didn't bring any fame to the US. You brought a fucking whole and runnings and crawlies, and now you know why, to your fucking soil. You're fucking terrorists on your own fucking soil. Because even if the sciences are on the coastlines and elsewhere, I did a lot of flyings and runnings. Wasn't there a lot of multitasking? Wasn't there a lot of right, left, right, left, right, left? Wasn't there? And you tell me the rest of the world don't fucking see. The rest of the US don't see. The rest of the US don't see your filth in California. Your degenerates. Even your fucking college kids. I went to high school for free with president's kids. For free. And my brain had already been smashed on the coastlines. You're getting used to this shit. Only because I'm not that girl. It's over. It's been over ever since you smashed that girl's head on the coastlines. It's over. The reason I came back with a social security number 221, Delft, from Holland, you satanistic small men and women, in Disney format, is to show you that Disney is better than your brains. And your fucking pieces of paper. You're so ugly inside to the intel communities that they had to go all the way out to bring back a Disney version of that girl. Then, after that had happened on the coastlines, they said that they were pink and blues. But some people, especially in California, were so stupid, they couldn't understand how genetics had occurred. Well, pink is pretty easy. There's a know-how about the blues. I have no idea. I'm pink. I live in the house. I'm the trained poodle in the house. I had to do connect the dots. We're wise to globals. That's all news on the news, injustice. We're wise to globals. And I did. I am 51 years old. And I can tell you one thing. Your PhDs are worth diddly squat to the entire communities. If you have such a pea-sized brain on the coastlines. That's why I'm back. So I can hear your fucking bitches call me a traitor after that shit you could see coming from fucking China. Landed with a smashed head on the coastline with a ship to yacht that left long ago. You retards! On your fucking soil. In the meantime, you sent your psychos to Disneyland. This is what the US is. And that's why I have been blessed by the Opus Dei and the Vatican, who are based in Rome. All the way from fucking China on your coastlines. While you are blessed by nobody. You are just a bunch of assholes and bitches without an iota of a brain cell to rub together. Then you get pissed off at Disneyland? That's it. For what? For what? You get pissed off that the shit was alive and that eventually with time it got smashed on the coastlines? Coming from China? Is that what you're pissed about? And that's your pretenses? So you have to take Disneyland. I have to send the cycles. Then we have to have all the Dr. Parrots on the planet speaking about psychos and cheerleaders. Enough! Enough! You fucking retard! Enough! 2 to 1. Enough! Scott, Glenn Film, and Raja Global. As for the parents in Fresno, considering that they are born in pioneer camps beyond the capital cities, that's no fucking capital city. That's darkness. They were hired as D1s. They were D2s. They became D1s. Osro, that later became TSUR, Catholic Relief Services, also UN, all funded by the UN, based in Rome. They were dropping aid, literally. Osro was natural disasters. They were in Iraq twice. So, stick your inventions up your ass, Fresno. And I am Junior, right? This made the rounds of the world that many motherfucking times. Not only on the flyings and the runnings, on the crawlies after the smashed in head of that car. That became, after. And the little crawlies. Because it went, you see, the crab had still resistance. She was strong. Near the end of the number, she started waning me. Until they literally called me Disneyland. I just couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't take that hate. Which is what you are in San Francisco and Fresno. Your police, flatfoot police, not the FBI, is not going to change that shit on the coastlines. It was already lost with the corporations. Why? Because you had it before, and then eventually you killed it on the coastlines. That was that girl that I am replacing. When they say I am a different format, the reason I don't like the word format after the smashed in head on the coastlines is obvious in Worldwide to Globals. Connect the dots, Worldwide to Globals in 81 countries. That's all news on the news, and I'm 51 years old. You fucking retard. So if I have to be Mother Teresa of Calcutta to a bunch of assholes the entire time who are calling me names and wanting me dead with their cheerleaders on the streets, then you know what we call that other than Shannon Ford Jr. and Dr. Parrots? We call it backward America. California. You're not patriots. You're nothing. You're just haters. And you get nothing from that, except for what you're going to get. And I have no idea what it's going to be, even for Disneyland. But after what I saw on the coastlines that was lost, and the reasoning behind bringing me back in pink ass shows to me that you are just shit. Shit! As people. You ain't no fucking near the intelligence that was lost on the coastlines with the corporates, because that girl's already dead with her head smashed in on the coastlines. I'm the replacement child. Another format. A different format. And if there's formats, as in plural, would lose. Seriously, after a smashing head on the coastlines, don't rehash. That's what made the news around the world. But the US and California is denying that. Why? Because they lost. They lost the fucking corporations and they lost that intel. Once the head was smashed in on the coastlines. They are that retarded. They don't understand what a replacement Disneyland child is in intelligence. Bloop, bloop. Holland, Delhi, 2-1. I add, of the 21st century, July the 20th. Now, considering that's old news on the news, and that ship to yacht and bridges that were shot up around the capital cities were wise to globals with the guys with big heads and platinum hairs and the fucking scientists around the capital cities, they're looking at me like this crippled little Disneyland. They're looking at me like, where the fuck she become? Okay, 2 seconds. This is what you are, US. You can't even look at yourself in the mirror. I can. I don't have pretenses, but you can't. That makes you not even a country. I'm not going to be sitting here and repeating the same motherfucking shit to you, which is old news on the news around the capital cities. I'm not going to be speaking about, a girl like that. That girl's gone. I have no pretenses. She doesn't exist. She's dead. Now you have pink and blues, many blues. And I have no idea how they made the blues, quite frankly, after smashed and head on both sides. Limits to grow, ship to yacht, wormhole to worm, big heads, ship to yacht corporations, seeing it come from China. La, 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 la. Thank you. On the coastlines. Because there's no science in Fresno. There's no corporation in Fresno. There's nothing. Fresno is Fresno. And always has been the intelligence of Fresno. Tom and Jerry Dartals, his buddies, his friends, his etals, his wingmen, his girlfriends, and everybody else there. The hospital, the nursing homes, even some locals, they're sick of it. The veterans are sick of it in Fresno. They're sitting there saying, I fought for this country. I don't want to see this sheep shit here. I know the Barons. They've been here alone on retirements. We like them. Others, locals, even the poor. Even the very poor in Fresno. Motherfucker. This town is so fucking corrupt. Look at these bitches and assholes. Look at the girlfriends. And I'm looking at the poor people and I say, you can't help me. You're poor. Useless. Alright. Unless you can give me an instrument to give him a headache, Havana 696969 around the capital cities, then yes, then you're very helpful. Yeah, now you're doing the patriotic thing. Now, shit, you have done that ages ago. Like a million times ages ago you could have gone there and done it. Because they know who the fuck Fresno is. They know who those nurses are. Those nurses who call themselves ladies of the house in Fresno in the hospital, the girlfriends, in the nursing homes. You know, with the 5X size breasts. Yes, those girls from Fresno, born and raised. Yes. The girlfriends of those puppy dicks. Little privates for Tom and Jerry Diatows. Who the fuck's defending who, you retard? And how many times? You think they don't know who you are? You think they don't know that the Supremist courts are defending them for their jobs? Did you forget what jobs they had? Again? We forgot about humanitarian jobs in the US? D1s of Oslo, TCI, USA? It's better to stay in the Mediterranean. We have now legal right in the Supreme Court. I grew up with them. In Rome, in Germany, in London. Come ahead. Even London. Why? Weren't you the best friends with the Italians and the Brits? What, in space tech and science at La Sapienza with a smashed-in head on the coastlines? What a great start to the new world. Void, empty. Empty spaces, what are we living for? I couldn't sing that song for as long as I remember. In tanto with all the flyings and runnings, that girl didn't have any time. This one wouldn't even sing a song for some time. Why? Well, at the beginning of Crab, she was too concentrated. She was concentrating. She was thinking and thinking and thinking. And more than thinking. Taking all the pains. Sort of like The Green Mile. Huh? The film The Green Mile. Taking all the pains for the father and mother. Because I was living in the house. Even if I'm a replacement child. You disgusting piece of shit. The girl who had her head smashed in on the coastlines will never come back to you. In fact, I don't think you ever met the blues. After what happened on the coastlines. And the blues didn't come from the US. They came from the corporates that were with that girl. In other words, whoever fell with that girl on her flyings and runnings, the mermaid story of the angels, whoever had the white hairs around the capital cities were wise to globals. And whoever of those corporationals in Western Europe and other places are with her, They're the ones that created the blues. Not me. Not you. Certainly not you, you cheapboards. You created your own void on your own coastlines. And then you brought in the federal prisoners. Look at Fresno. There's no federal prison. It's county. But they do send them to San Quentin. So that's what we call extras for Dr. Parrots. Delayed response. That you didn't bomb the shit out of Fresno. Now, either you do what you should have done ages ago, which is the Headache Havana in Fresno. And I would get the girlfriends too in nursing homes and a hospital. It doesn't matter if they're jealous locally. It doesn't matter if they're crazy. It doesn't matter. Anything matters. It doesn't matter if you're the president of the US. If you have intelligence that voids buildings when it dies with corporates on the coastlines, that's your problem by now, US. I'm not going to make a problem out of that for myself. No! I'm dead. That girl's dead. That girl is dead and buried on the coastlines. You don't come to Disneyland and bother me with that. You have pretenses in the US. And don't deny it. Makes you look even more stupid and backward as a nation. And as for you shits out there who so gladly come up to me or slap me or whatever, let me put it this way. Would you rather have a 5X bra girl in the military that's a whore with everyone, fighting and fucking everyone to have a career, a job, a position? Somebody who would poison you in 2 seconds as a nurse if something wavy, smelly passed through her nose? Or would you rather have a space-breaking girl who was doing all the flyings and runnings around the world, who had her head smashed in on the coastlines, comes back as Disneyland as a particular corn cob, and those girls go against this one? Motherfucker, what's this? A whore fest? I'm Maya cheerleader. In other words, US, there's reasons and reason behind things. And this is not even reason. This is fucking retarded. That is why the Dr. Parrots get away with saying that you're whores. That's why the Italian Marines and the Britishers are going, and the German airspace and the others are saying, they were from Disneyland, just for fun. What the fuck was lost on the coastlines? Why did you come back? And they were saying the truth. If the girl had her head smashed in, as they claim, and she comes back as Disney 221, if that intel, that science intel at La Sapienza and the Esa Nasser, they're showing that about the original Jamila from Russia, from Saudi Arabia, the brother of the mother does sciences in Warsaw University. He's 96. He says, go to Moscow. Polish intelligence is pink in comparison to what you were gray and black of science. The cousin of the father used to do sciences in Cairo. He said the same with Saudi Arabia and me. You have the UN. So why am I back? Why would they bring a relic after smashing head on the coastlines, a particular corn cob of a girl after smashing head on the coastlines, 221 Delft, Holland, wormhole to worm, whatever you know, United Nations, but old news on the news, the nails were west, the globals connected us, huh? Like, it's already done. It's old. Like that. Why? Just think about it. In the US, on US soil, meaning they lost that shit on the US on the coastlines. Just think about it, because you're patriots, right? You're the ones who are going to reopen that shit with your 5X bras, correct? You bitch, I'll kill you. I'll kill you. Kill this man. I hate you, bitch. This is America. This is it. When are you going to get in your heads in Western Europe, in England, in Germany, in Italy, in Spain, even in the Eastern Bloc, poor countries, the Russians, the Arabs, the Saudis, the Turks, the Indians, the Chinese, the Asians, the African nations, and South fucking America? When are you going to get that this is the US? This is what the US is, what it smells like. The best on the coastlines and space tech and science. The best with the corporations. I could see that happening on the coastlines. It's fucking void. I have a terror every time I come back to life as a particular corn carbon pig, begging to stay the fuck out of this country. And you speak to me about ship to yacht, and I was at the corporate and others with you. Okay, thank you very much. I just had my head smashed in on the ghost lines. I come back at Disneyland, and I have to put up with you think I'm Mother Teresa of Calcutta to put up with your smelly ass fucking assholes. And the college kids are going there and saying, why did bring back Disneyland? Poor little thing. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, open that shit on the ghost lines, including cancer. Cancer is the big shit. That's the easy stuff. Open it, you fucking whore. Did you have a fucking PhD up your ass? I'm dead. I don't know why they brought me back as Disneyland. Leave me the fuck alone. There's shit for brains in this country. And you speaking about genetics. Okay, genetics, that's a different story altogether. That's a different story altogether. That's a smashed in head on the ghost line. See, you're coming from fucking China. That's what they didn't make any Ubermensch out of a smashed in head on the ghost lines. They must have done them before, because seriously, you come from China. I think we should just leave. Woohoo! And that's what happened. That's the old news on the ghost lines. You don't like when Disneyland tells you shit. It's like you hear the shit, it goes right through the other ear, and you don't give a shit. You say it and you keep saying it in Disney mode, and the shit's like, I can't bitch Disney. This is America. This is it. With your cheerleaders in college. Your violent 5X bras and your cheerleaders. You think that shit's gonna reopen that shit on the ghost lines? You really think that shit's gonna reopen that shit on the ghost lines? With the science attack? With the corporations? Go ahead, cheerleaders. You're retarded. That's why I came back in Disneyland form. So you can deny it, you can lie about it, you can invent shit on me, call me Bin Laden, you can do anything. It doesn't matter. Any case, Bin Laden is better than the Mossad, and I keep saying that. I kept saying, listen, Bin Laden is not good because he's a terrorist, but he's better than the Mossad. And they looked at me and they say, you're a terrorist. And I said, listen, we've come to the point of mental retardation. Either we're dealing with completely mentally retarded people, or the whole US is just a bunch of cheerleading fucking retards. Okay, sorry, dramatic pause. I thought it would be helpful. Anyway, that's all news on the news. So when they said, they say to me, don't say this stuff out loud, we will. Okay, you did. Then you say to me, well, you can mention it, but the way you say it, you're going to start sounding like the Roman bazaar, like the marketplace, of dead hares or live hares or whatever happened on the ghost lines. I don't care. Athletes for sale, sort of thing, And I'm sitting there and thinking to myself, even if I explain this like a trillion times to the Americans on the coastlines in California or in the US or anywhere in California, they will still deny it because they'll say there's no such thing as space breaks, there's no such thing as science. That comes from Russia, Saudi Arabian Mir, or Western European, or she was born in Rome, or the UN. It just doesn't exist. Those corporate shit. Those girls don't exist, especially girls. They can be only boys and stuff like that, especially in stupid times, right? Correct. In fact, you can see the fucking void on the ghost lines, which you're still denying. On both sides, Massachusetts, New York, New England, there's some in DC that are empty, mostly ESSA, NASA, mathematics, as well as sciences. In other words, your Ivy Leagues are sitting there with some buildings that are empty. If you ask them, just go to your Ivy Leagues of Massachusetts and New England. Go to Harvard, Princeton, and Yale, and ask them. Or in DC, and ask, and New York was only cancer. They had some math, but not much. And ask them, what is the mathematics, the exact mathematics, the exact Macvarians and the exact space breaks those buildings are empty in Massachusetts for? And you know what they'll say to you? They'll say to you that Intel has emptied NASA buildings when it had its head smashed in on the coastlines. And that there were corporations behind her in Western Europe, in the UN, and the Germans are still speaking about that spacebreaker who's dead. That you could see, had the intel once, and then again, and then one day you smashed your head in on the coastlines and Retard came back to tell you, I'm the best! My team's are NASA cheerleaders! And at Fresno for the parents on retirements and their jobs! And the pioneer counts beyond the capital city. Seriously. US, you created your own shit. You created your own shit. You brought back a dead baby who is a replacement child prop. They call dead because technically the original is gone after the smashed in head on the ghost lines. And that's the old news on the news, because in the new world of stupid times, what we have is blues. pink and blues. Pink has only a short period of time left, of 147 to 221. There's only 2 slots of geological rebirth, which is nothing because the social security number is usually 9 digits. And you are going to be still denying that, what happened on the ghost lines, because you are what you are. Disneyland has to fight just to breathe, to prove that you're not a country. And that's not even mentioning the father and the mother in Fresno. There are many flyings, there are many runnings on the hills, and you have to look at hills, you have to do hydrographic surveying for that. And mountains are behind the hills. They're actually physically mountains. And they're actually mountains that are, well, they're higher than hills, you see. And there are other buildings. In other words, the library stops at, I think, the second tree there, not the first tree. So the flyings are actually in other, and the hills, yeah. And after the hills, there's the mountains. Those are other buildings. The mountains. They're not the library. Not the library at all. Completely separate buildings. So that was 92, 92 and above. And that was the only one they accepted for the parents and for me. Because on 85, the runnings, that many motherfucking times around the capital cities, that girl had her head smashed in on the coastlines of the US on your soil with the corporations. Goodbye. So let that sink in while you gather your thoughts about the girl who had her head smashed in on the coastlines and wonder why I came back for a blimping time 221, July 20th, plumbing time. I have no idea what the blues are because after a smashed in head on the coastlines, the intelligence and the religion said that's not the same person. She will never be able to reopen her original buildings. A byproduct of stupid times. That's what they told me as a 5-year-old in the UN, in Western Europe, in Germany, and London, and also internationals, in Russia, and Arabia's. The nails is old news on the news gone with the wind. You know what I'm saying? So while you were sitting on your fat ass in California and not giving a shit about what was happening in your soil, that shit happened on the coastlines, and now you have pretenses against Disneyland because you ain't gonna change it. Why? Because those corporations could see it coming from China. And so could the intel in the US. And that's not mentioning Fresno for the father and the mother in Fresno on retirements and their jobs. The pioneer camps beyond the capital cities, very young ages, champions, pioneers, and the jobs as D1s. You forget what humanitarian jobs are because you don't understand what work is and you don't understand what jobs are. On helicopters dropping aid in Africa, Asia, and South America. You don't understand anything in this world. As long as you have it easy here, as long as you can boast about your limousines or your boyfriends, 100 million boyfriends, PhDs, or articles that are never going to change the big shit on the coastlines. That big shit left long ago. So out of spite for the intelligence, after smashing the head, knowing that those guys were going to leave with her, knowing fully well that they would leave with her, oh yeah, you didn't care. Then when you lost the shit, you had pretenses against me, right? In the meantime, the corporations and all the intels of those have recreated some blues, which is obviously not the original guy. And then they brought back this one who lives in the house, or what they call the trained poodle, Mademoiselle Rosie, after what happened on the coastlines, the smashed in head. And you got used to that. You got used to losing that kind of intelligence on the coastlines with the corporates. Whether it's Russian or Saudi or German or British or Italian or UN or Chinese, for all I give a shit. And you had it before. You had it long ago. You're that callous and that bad and that pretentious. You don't talk to Disneyland and say, bitch ass, I already killed you, bitch ass, you crippled bitch ass. You don't speak like that to Disneyland. US. We'll sue you for that. Schadenfreude Jr. And we'll sue you for your cycles following Disneyland. After all those flyings and running, she had no time, that girl. This blimp of time of fresh air is exactly showing who the fuck you are as people. Not as intel, as people. Goodbye. This is what they saw. This is what's on paperwork. As much as I don't like using the word paperwork to Wandel. But I have The Hague, I have the Bureau de Veritas, I have the Italian Tribunal for your psycho extras with Dr. Parrots. I have so much paperwork. You want to kill the baby in the last 2 blumps? Go ahead for fun. We'll sue you $1 billion just for that. Why? Because you're assholes. To the point of no return. That actually already happened. You are beyond assholes to the point of no return with that one. Because that shit's just simply getting emptier without me. And I can't control it. There was a time I could control it. I was with the corporations in the UN, Space Tech, the engineering, and La Sapienza, and Woolwich. The Germans knew about that girl, also internationals, of course, Russians, the Saudis, because the blood is Russian-Saudi, Russian-Arab, there's Turk in the family, grandmama, but I didn't go there, and so forth. Well, the missing link wouldn't. That's it. So like a Caucasian mix, a Russian-Arab, not unusual. A Russian Turk, not unusual. But the Jews will sit there and say, we don't like it when the Russians go with the Arabs. We don't like it when the Russians side with the Germans. We don't like it when the Russians side with the English or the Italians. We don't like when the Arabs and the Italians and the Spanish get together and the Portuguese. We don't like it when the English and we don't like it when these guys do this and we do that. Really? You're mentally retarded in the US. It happens all the time. And that's simple shit. You're not even speaking about Asia and how they do shit. Your ugliness stems from the fact that you can't look at reality. Not even reality. Forget about the uncomfortable truths for the parents. With the hanging benches of Natalie Direct and Lara Quintas, both defending them for their jobs. I'll give you jobs very soon. Digging fucking burials in Fresno. Many. You'll be lucky if you get a fucking headache, mademoiselles. In the hospital and the nursing homes. Oh, aren't you their girlfriends? Aren't you accessories? You're not? Or you're just the cheerleaders? Let me ask you, puppy dicks. You see this? This started a war, Fresno, to defend the parents, your inventions in Fresno. That many flyings on 92, 92 and above. Around the world, that many runnings, 85, 85 of that girl. And many quarters, that quarters me. Okay? So when the ex-mayor of Rome, who's married to Barilla, said, it's better to lose with the most intelligent. Forever and ever. And that's the old news on the news. Than to win with the stupids. In other words, bringing back Disneyland was an extremely bad idea in the intelligence community. This is just my opinion. Okay, it's just my opinion. My father and my mother loved me to bits. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. I was a sport brat in the family. I was a trained poodle. Sure, they were extremely strict. Everyone was like, your parents are so strict with you. I'm like, no, they're not. Not enough. You know, do you have that instrument for the space bomb? You know, it's a worry that I have in my head, you know, since I was a child. Are you going to give me that bomb for Fresno? What about that headache and bomb? We have to be politically correct. Okay, headache bomb. In other words, I don't have any more patience from the day I was reborn after the smashed head on August 9th. I simply don't. I don't have that patience. I don't have that discipline, call that a discipline. I don't have it anymore. I'm a different person. I'm going to have to admit it, another person. And if there is another format of that girl and blues, well, you'd have to talk to some very advanced intelligence out there, which I'm not anymore. The best. That's it. I can see that on the coastline. Excuse me. You didn't have that intelligence before long ago when I came along. I gave it to you. That was her, not you. Me. Cancer is pink. That's why I call it pink. There's grays and blacks. The girl did grays and blacks. But you can't even open the pink because grays and blacks of the corporations took the pink out. Now, considering this is all news in the UN, all news in Western Europe, all news in Russia, Arabia, and I don't even speak about it because am I that girl? No. I'm something else after I smashed in head on the good slides. So when you get used to being bitches to Disneyland, I ask myself, are you even patriots? Or are you just like the cheapest shit on the planet? To your health, US. You're so intelligent. And while those girls are sitting there and calling themselves patriots, they're very good as cannon fodder, remember. The bigger the breasts, 5x the weight, the better as cannon fodder. It's for my advice to you. It's just advice. You know what I'm saying? Hello, back to Disneyland. After the smashed in head on the coastlines, as I was saying, we would love, and this is old news, all the news coming from China, you can see it, to stay in Rome for retirement. Considering I'm Disneyland already, and there's no motherfucking sacrifice for me to stay in Rome. You Satanists on the coastlines. Here we go again. And if you think that I'm going to shed a tear for you fuckers after I had my head smashed in on the coastlines and came back as Disneyland and you want to do the same thing to Disneyland because you're mentally retarded, and we call that Schadenfreude Jr., various levels of Schadenfreude Jr., I guess. I have a... How much paperwork? Not even Disneyland quite. It's hopeless. In China, hopeless, you could say hopeless with a smashed in head on the coastlines. Geniuses were back blues or something. That's hopeless. You know, I can say Nietzsche, hopeless is no good. Okay, that's intelligent thinking. I'm not saying intelligence per se. You do it yourself, but, people who were thinking ahead of time, sort of thing, like seeing it coming from China. On the coastlines. Matsuvanta multitasking. Multitasking on many times. And you bring me back in this format and you say to me, bitch, you Disneyland, we already smashed your head on the coastlines, bitch-ass replacement child. US. I'm sorry to say this to you, but this entire fucking Western Europe looking at you like you're mentally retarded just for 2-1. What about the parents in Fresno? That was the old news on the news 2-1, huh? That was the old news on the... In other words, to be polite and to be decent with you, which is something you're not with me, with Disneyland even. Let's just stay the fuck out of here. You can keep all your bitches, all your Knoxes, all your Dolores Shelters, all your retards, all your haters, all your buttes, all your college grads on drugs, and all your careerists and PhDs up your ass. And my kind stay out, obviously, because I already had my head smashed in on the coastlines, and that's why they call me Disney. And the parents stay out. Because the retirements in famous Fresno's intelligence, is not good for anybody. And Fresno's intelligence could have very long ago been bombed. Now, they say not to say that out loud. So I say, what should I say? Spaceball. Havana 696969. That is not exactly a classical science or new space tech or new bombs or corporate Shionago lands around the US. No. And around the world. No. That was the mermaid. So, you can't bring back a peanut girl. Get it? But it's just a short period of time. And that's it. Because there was crab and then there was crabby. And that was during the number. That was after the smashed in head on August 9th. Now, Holland is Holland. Holland is Netherlands. As Delft is the town in the Netherlands of the Bilderbergs. That's the church. And it's the Newkirk, not the Oudekerk. That doesn't bother me. What does bother me is how bad you are as people. So the question that you brought back, the Mossad, the CLA, or the Turkish place there is a Visa Mail. I don't care. You understand? If you're white or Jewish or black or yellow, I don't care what race you are. I don't care if you're gay or lesbian. I don't care if you're military, ex-military. I don't care what you are. But if you're that stupid and that bad, they're showing it. And quite frankly, I would have rather died again as Disneyland just to sue you $1 billion for your government. Why? Because if I had died in Disneyland mode, I could sue your government $1 billion for what they call the Schadenfreude Jr. collective for killing Disneyland. Because whether I live or whether I die, the coastlines will get emptier with the corporations. That's how intelligence works. It does things once. Once. And that once was 92 and above. That many flyings. That's once. On 85, that many runnings on the hills, what happens is that the rest of the world sees it. They see everything in all those capital cities. By the time it's finished, at the end of 85, they hit my head. And I come back like Disney. Now, I'm doing the crawlies, little crawlies of this girl. Okay? A particular corn cob. So while you are being terrorists in your own country and on your own soil, and you call yourselves patriots, which you're obviously not, for me, you're not worth shit. Even in Disney mode, you're worth shit. As people. Because that's not the intel anymore. This is just cheerleading bitches. The intel already lost that shit. What are they gonna do? Oh shit, we lost that shit. We smashed the girl's head on the coastlines and the guy's left with her. This is what happened. This is the history in the UN. This is the history in Western Europe, in Germany, in England, in Woolwichers, in college at the age of 15 for free, with the president's kids in high school between the ages of 13 and 15 for free. After the girl had her head smashed in on the coastlines, the replacement child, the genetics. The same in Russia and the same in Saudi Arabia, where the blood comes from. Shit, what a bunch. And you could say Poland for the brother, the mother, Warsaw International, that a lot of the Eastern blockers are, you know where? From Russia. And they're good for Poland. Nauki, or sciences. He's 96 years old. The sciences in Eastern Europe, Poland, Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria, Moldova are Russian. When are you going to get that through your thick skull? Okay, especially if the heads of sciences are the brother, the mother who's 96, and the head of science, the guy who's 96, that age. Because none about any. They both sang Mir Saudi, Mir Russia for the sciences, but the girl's dead. So why bring me back for a split second 2-1 delve? Bada, wormhole to worm, welcome to worm, project of the UN. What's this? Crab to crabby, dead with a smashed in head. What you gonna get out of the intelligence communities? But Disney, after you smashed that girl's head on a ghost science, what you gonna get? What are your pretenses? And you're shouting for a junior. I hate you. Oh, Dad, it's nothing. I hate your mom. It's nothing. You a whore. I already smashed your head in on the ghost line. This is called shouting for a junior for Dr. Parrots. So fuck off. Yeah, more paperwork for me. If you want to try the Elena Mujina of intelligence on the coastlines, reopen that shit, because I'm already dead. You know, Disney. On your soil. It's again coming from fucking China. So when there is the Skokland film at Radio Globo, they're not doing it because they hate Disney. This girl, this replacement child. They're doing it because they want the parents out of Fresno, and after what happened to that girl on the coastlines, quite frankly, it's better to stay in Rome for retirement. We forced them to stay in Rome for retirement. So you can keep your bitches and assholes in Fresno. All of them and the whores. Of course. Keep them. The more stupid people you have in the US, the better it is for intelligence around the world. The more we can show how fucking stupid you are. That's the Holy Grail on the Ghost Lines. That was old news on the news. Oh, spite. Spite? Manamalika, that was the old news on the news. You know, there has to be some thinking behind this shit because, quite frankly, I can't believe you're that stupid in the US. I simply can't believe you're that stupid. I can't. You can't be all assholes in the US. If you're in, no, not to that level. If you're all like this, if you are like this, if you're all like this in California, fuck, move country, move state. I know. Move continent, move to another planet. Don't come to the California. Don't come to the US. Stay in Western Europe and Germany. Stay in the UN. Stay in Italy. Stay in Spain. Stay in London and England. Stay in Russia. Stay in Arabia. Stay in China. Stay in Korea. Stay anywhere on the planet. Stay in South America and Colombia. Stay in Brazil. Don't come to US. Don't bother. You can even go to Canada if you want. Fuck. Australia. But don't come to the US. Okay? Because you could see that shit coming from fucking China on the coastlines. And these assholes are not fucking patriots in a Mayenya Yota. All they are is punk ass haters. All of them. And there's an entire setup. And there's, well, we hate her. She'll stay in Rome for retirement. That's not how it works. That's not how it works at all. The reason they want us to stay in Rome for retirement is because of Dirk-Jan van Dam, The Hague. The Bureau de Veritas, the Italian tribunal with all the Dr. Parrots, what happened to the original girl on the coastlines in Intel, and the losses of Intel on the coastlines, which is all news on the news. That's the shot up bridges around the capital cities, the ship to yacht that left completely with that girl long ago, and who knows what else is happening on the coastlines, and that's what US is the US. It has so many fucking problems, I don't want to even fucking list them. And that's it, within its own ground. Its own soil. Patriots. Then you're saying to me, you're Jewish, who knows what? Thinking that, we're going to hurt her, and we get parents. And there's the white girls, and college girls are just sitting there saying, you don't have parents like mine, and you're not going to reopen my buildings. My fucking buildings, literally. Maybe you open a pink-ass cancer, because that's the easy shit. Other than that, I don't see it. That girl specialized in grey and black. She specialized on the 21st century wormhole to worm of July the 20th. Because that girl had her head smashed in on the ghost lines and you don't give a shit. And because that's what they called the old news on the news once that girl ceased existing. And because I came along as a particular corn cob, you're still denying that. I haven't seen a nation on the planet that denied the existence of 221. My face. Not one. Not in the UN, not in Germany. And Germany is supposed to be my enemy. I'm not German. Not the English, not the Italian where I was born, not Warsaw Internationals, not Russia, not Arabians. None of them denied that girl. None. Asia, Africa, South America, when I was there, living there, or working there or something, or passing by. Nobody. But you, yes, in California. Look at you, Schadenfreude. Look what they had to send to help Disneyland get out alive. Because you psychos were following and have sex. What's your business? US! Start using your brains and not your assholes! In other words, this is the old news on the news. Just leave me alone. Leave me and the parents alone in Fresno on retirements. Because we know who Fresno's intelligence is. We know who you are. We know where they're based. We know who they are. And we know they have nothing to do with the corporations. They have nothing to do with the sciences and the tech that were lost on the coastlines. And they have nothing to do with anything Fresno, the fame of Fresno. We know who that intel is between Tom and Jerry Tarrantals, his buddies, the corruption, the whole shit. You can lie your ass off, assholes. Your buddies, your wingman, every et al. You can, everything. The puppy dicks, your grandmamas that I had to take care of who were cancer riddled, who were saying, I ain't going near my grandsons or grandkids. The children, the careerists in the town are crazy. I can't help, ma'am. You're 80 years old, you're cancer riddled. Virginia Woolf, the mother of Lester Wolf et al., who built the house. Puppy dicks. You think that I'm going to be afraid of them? Well, Disneyland already had her head smashed in on the ghost lines. She's not afraid. She lives in the town with a bunch of assholes and bitches. In Fresno. And she has done ever since the flyings and the runnings, and then I became a Crowley, literal Crowleys. So if you think that I'm not going to be oversharing, you say, well, you overshared. I didn't overshare. This was beyond overshare around the capital cities, you retard. It was beyond. Your girlfriends are not going to save you from federal prison. Your 5 breasted girlfriends, smelly asses. They're good as cannon fodder. Born and raised in Fresno. Your nurse girlfriends. Don't think that every motherfucker on the planet hasn't heard of Fresno. The Hollywood, Van Ness version of Van Ness Avenue in Fresno with its few limousines, the poverty in Fresno, the hospital, the nursing home, the shootouts, how bad you are in Fresno. You think they didn't hear this shit around the capital cities for Fresno? Do you think they didn't know that that girl had her head smashed in on the ghost lines? And that there was the Scotland film on Radio Globo and that shit was empty because she was dead. Not because you're alive or because you're dead, but because I'm dead with a smashed in head on the ghost lines. And now I'm Disneyland. That's why that's void. But I'm not going to speak about that girl because that girl is history that you're denying. And I'm not Iran. Am I? And the ghost lines is not Iran. It's your fucking shit in the US. The corporate and the sciences. And that's not mentioning the parents in Fresno on retirements either. So when they brought back, after the smashed in head on the ghost lines, this girl, and I am now 51 years old, the reason they did that was to show who you are. We're doing a simple reflect. That is what fucking happened on the ghost lines. I can't change it. You can't change it with all your fucking PhDs, geniuses, geniusarskas, bleshkas. So take it out on Disneyland. I don't give a shit. I'm not afraid of you. I've already seen the devil and I'm back. And I don't give a shit to tell you that that's not how shit happens on the planet. Especially if you can see it coming from China. On the cruise lines. For Fresno, where the parents are on retirements, we know who Fresno is. We know who those girlfriends are, those guys are. We know who they are around the world and within the US. You could have very easily got them. The Supreme Courts are defending the parents for their jobs. They're not defending Fresno. They want to bomb Fresno. Do you understand that? If the Supreme Court could bomb a shithole of bitches and assholes, girlfriends and boyfriends in Fresno, they would. But they didn't. They're speaking about politically correct ever since with the t-shirts around the capital cities and within the US. 696969. A slight headache. As for the advanced sciences with the corporations, that's something else on the science. A headache, or what we call Havana, the microwave headache, is 1950s-ish. Yeah, it's a classic old machine. No special sciences. Goodbye, retard. And your intel in Fresno, we know who the fuck you are. Don't bother lying. Fresno. Oh, inventing shit, Fresno. Got many times even to Disney. Fuck you, asshole.